When I look around at all the entrepreneurs who are grinding it out, spending 70 to 80 hours per week growing their business, you have to ask yourself the question, at what cost? Hi, my name's Tim Uchuk, and in this podcast, we're going to be exploring the tools, tactics, and strategies for crushing it and scaling your business without making the ultimate sacrifice of your time and freedom. Hey, what's up, guys? Tim Uchuk here, and it is Monday. Wanted to hop on quick because it's been a couple weeks, and also I had a thought. I've been having this thought recurring for a couple of years now. I wanted to share it with you in terms of growing, optimizing, improving your businesses. This comes up quite a bit in our coaching calls as well, but it's this idea of thinking at scale, and this is one of those like paradigm shifts that transform things for me in terms of kind of how I look at all problems within my business. And this stems from, I remember the paradigm shift. We were talking about updating and improving, optimizing our sales systems for our compressed air business years ago. And we were talking about, I was talking with our sales manager at the time, and we were talking about getting the rest of the team. And at that point in time, there were two other sales guys, and the conversation was getting them optimized each day so that they could hit their targets in terms of generating quotes, generating new business every single week. And the question kind of occurred to me, what if we thought about this at scale in terms of, okay, we're talking about two people, but what would it look like if instead of two, we were talking about 20 people? What would need to change? And so thinking through, what does onboarding look like? What do the meetings need to look like? What is the tracking and the reporting? What would that need to look like at scale with, let's say, 20 sales guys rather than two? And it forces a different kind of line of thinking. And if you apply this line of thinking, and if you start implementing the strategies that fall in line with, and we're really talking about marginal gains versus exponential gains. Because if you think about solving problems marginally, so for like one or two people, or in the short term versus the long term, you're going to come up with different solutions, obviously. So remember, a problem well defined is a problem half solved. And so if we want to have a business that we can really grow really quickly, we have to start, therefore, thinking in terms of exponential gains and exponential thinking. And so every problem I think about in this way now, even if it's a small kind of marginal problem, I'll throw a constraint question like, what if we had to onboard or hire 20 people here this month? Or what would it look like if we had to onboard 20 clients today? So rather than one, increase it substantially to force you to think completely differently. You're going to attack the problem naturally from a different angle and with a different solution set. And ultimately, at the end of the day, if we look at our business growth, if we're flat, it's actually declining because of a flat business in terms of in inflation. It's You're going to go out of business in the long run because everybody else is going to be continuing to innovate, continuing to grab market share, and those that are stagnant, or even if your business growth is below the inflation rate, you're going to be in trouble. So, just wanted to share that idea with you. If you are looking at a problem, there's a couple different constraint questions, right? If you're looking at a problem like we had talked about, what if it were 20 people instead of just one or two people, right? What if we had to grow by 10 times instead of 10%? What would that need to look like? Just to force you to think a little bit differently. So rather than thinking marginally, um, think exponentially. And another way of thinking about this, another different angle in terms of a constraint is, what would the solution need to look like in order for this problem to go away forever? Right. So how can we solve this problem once so it is forever solved rather than just putting on a band-aid, in which case it's just going to be a fire that shows up next week. So how can we mistake proof it in a way, in other words, so that it disappears forevermore? Right. So these constraint questions are really powerful, and it really reframes your world in terms of how you attack and think about solutions to your problems. Right. So we're talking about thinking at scale or thinking exponentially versus thinking marginally for like every problem. So again, thinking about your systems, your processes. What would it need to look like if we had 20 people, 30 people, 40 people having to go through this with limited resources, right? Let's say it's only me having to do all the managing and the onboarding. What would that need to look like? So it's going to force a different line of thinking. It has to, right, to come up with solutions that way. So, anyways, hope that helps, guys. I know this is a short one, but this popped into my mind because it came up recently, and I thought I would share it with you. Hope that helps, guys, and we'll talk to you soon. Hey, Tim Uchuk here again. And real quick, if you enjoyed this podcast episode, if you could take a couple quick seconds to give it a rating, it would be very much appreciated. And secondly, if you're looking for more tools and strategies on how you can crush it in life and business, just head on over to perfectweek.com, where we put together a 10-day sprint designed to help you double your daily output in just 10 days. Head on over to perfectweek.com. And until next time, wishing you success and freedom in your business. Cheers.